Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah ta'ala wa barakatuh. You're watching Safir TV on Sky 847. This is It Takes Two and I'm Bilal Ali Hugh. I'm joined this week by my co-host Sister Ruby Soa. Assalamu alaikum Ruby.
Alaikum salam, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, rearing to go. And this week we're joined by the beloved Sheikh Abu Jafar. Assalamu alaikum Sheikh.
Assalamu Bilal, thank you very much.
Alhamdulillah. So as you know, this is a program where we explore the challenges that naturally occur in marriage and try to help you come up with solutions and ways of moving forward in a more loving and enriched relationship. Let's jump into our first scenario for this week. It reads, "There it takes two. I have had 3 miscarriages and there seems to be no medical explanation as to why this has happened. What I am most afraid of is that my husband will leave me and that I am on the clock to have a child. I am healthy and in my 20s and I have not even announced my pregnancies out of fear that something will go wrong. My husband has changed towards me and I don't know what to do. I am so scared of losing him and I feel that he is only putting up with me. How do I overcome this fear? Or will this happen? What if he wants to take another wife who can bear him children? Help, I am despairing." And it's from a childless and distressed sister in the UK in London. Very, very, very heartfelt letter.
Yep.
We pray for the sister, for her health and that things can work out in the future. But right now, this is where she's at, Sheikh, in a state of anxiety and emotional pain. Where does she go?
I think we all have to understand that the purpose of marriage is not to get children all the time. To get children is the outcome of marriage. So everything we have to look at it Islamically. We have to look at it in the view of Islam. As Muslim, we are supposed to look at what Allah has said about this. He said, "Yahbul man yasha'u dhukura." He gave bestow to whom He wills male boys, children, and He also bestow to whom He wills girls. Aw yuzawwijuhum dhukuran. Or He give only males children. He doesn't give even girls children. And then He said, وَيَجْعَلُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ عَقِيمًا, and He make barren whom He wants. So a Muslim should know that if a woman is barren or she's getting miscarriage all the time, it happened by the wills of Allah. It shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be that we think that there is an evil to such kind of a woman and they start maybe persecuting her or maybe looking at her.
The sister feels bad. She's worried.
Yes, but the worry is naturally because a woman feels that she has to get children. She should not be alone in the house. It's a joy. Children is joy in life. So that's how she feels bad. But when you look at Allah, He said that it is a test. For example, in the ayah of ibtila, the ayah of testing, it says, وَلَنَبْلُوَنَّكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ مِنَ الْخَوْفِ. We will test you with fear. And then He continue. He say, وَنَقْصٍ مِنْ أَمْوَالٍ. The wealth will be diminished. وَالْأَنفُسِ, and even death. And then He say, وَالثَّمَرَاتِ. So He used thamarat here to mean children. Thamar of marriage is children.
Yeah.
Which what do we call it? It's not a fruit. But fakiha in Arabic is fruit. But here thamar, it can be any kind of fruit. Right? So this is a test. So we as men, we shouldn't feel that there is an evil of a woman, then we try to persecute her. But we should encourage her. We should be in that critical moment, we should be with her a lot. We should talk to her a lot. She should not feel that the husband is
so
shining.
He should be more reassuring his wife and be more tender
more supportive
to
the wife in that moment. Until when Allah bring His mercy. I have a very good example in this. My close relative, he married a woman who was married before for 15 years. This is true story. 15 years, she did not get children. And all the time the man was the same. he was not good, he was talking bad to her, until when the woman thinks that she has to ask for divorce, she asks for divorce. So when she asked for divorce, she stayed 1.5 years without marriage. And then she was married with my relative. This is a second year, they get a baby. So a woman get a baby after 16 years.
MashaAllah.
So we shouldn't think that is a problem of a woman all the time. It could be a problem of the man too.
Yes, yes.
So this is why there's a miscarriage, that is what? Not from the woman all the time. So we should think more about this and be more supportive. And think and focus about what Allah have said in the Quran.
Ruby, what do you think is going on here for the sister and the brother? They're not coming together, is putting a wedge between them.
I think the sister needs to take some time to recover mentally and emotionally and physically from what has happened.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
2 or 3
Three miscarriages. That's a lot.
We don't know what the time, the gap was between each of those pregnancies, but she needs time to grieve. She needs time to process. She hasn't got any answers, and sometimes there aren't any answers medically. But what she needs to do is just take a time out. Maybe, who is she trying to kind of impress? Does she feel pressure from the family or from the guy?
Could be.
Well, the more pressure you give yourself, the worse result she gets. So I think she needs to take a time out, and she needs to talk to her husband. She needs to relay her fears of feeling that, she may feel inadequate. She may feel that she's blaming herself. She may feel that, my God, if I can't step up to the plate, what's going to happen to me? She will have fear about her future. She has.
She said, what if my husband takes another wife, and then she has children? So it doesn't even sound like, not just the fact that he's taken another wife, maybe she can get her head around that, and if she were to still be without child, and then imagine that.
So this is what she needs to do. She needs to take time out with her husband. They both need to grieve. He might be a bit distant from her because he probably doesn't know what to say. It could be an incident where he has no words. He's still processing what's going on.
He may be just sad.
Or he may feel that if he approaches the subject, it might come across as being a pressure. He maybe feels he doesn't know what to do. And what I would advise is, contact your GP. There's counsellors. There's lots of support groups out there that you can go online. Miscarriages are nothing new. They've been,
oldest time immemorial. Yeah.
There are sisters out there in the community who've gone through the same thing as you, if not worse. So you need to talk. I really believe that talking in these type of incidences help you not forget, but move on from the situation and give yourself a break. Give your body, yourself, and your mind a break. Step back from the situation and revisit it when you're ready.
Inshallah. Sheikh, the sister said she's overcome by fear. This is related to the miscarriage and the fear of losing her husband. But oftentimes as Muslims, sometimes fear approaches us. Is there particular practices or du'as or surahs or some spiritual way that we can empower ourselves to try and overcome the different fears that we might come across?
I think in Islamic books of medicine, they have written a lot about this, about how to stay with a wife, how to sleep, how to cohabit, whatever. There are a lot of this type of things. So, and if they will refer to scholars, they will get much information about this. Because I remember some of our imams, they have narrated things which have those similar significance, maybe to preserve a woman when she's in her pregnancy, not miscarriage, not to happen, miscarriage. So, like how when the moon is such and such, when this and such days of cohabiting with our wives, and many things has been explained, especially Imam Jafar Sadiq and Imam Rida and others. So I think they need to refer to the scholars and tell them exactly what they have to do, what type of food they have to eat even, because there is a riwayah would say that if a woman is pregnant, she's supposed to have much apples and those type of and roman and pomegranates and other stuff and grapes. So this type of food is more important for a woman. So I think they need counseling, Islamic, and we need this type of thing. But unfortunately, we don't have. Well, our imams have a lot of things to offer as such. Yeah.
Ruby, I'm thinking that this brother could very much be in a place of pain and hurt. Not hurt because his wife has hurt him, but just hurt him because of the loss of his potential children. And I often think at times that miscarriage can affect men, but it's because the men are not carrying the child. The implication or the impact can be slightly overlooked. And it may be possible that the sister is not picking up on that potential and needs to dialogue with her husband. What do you think about that?
Definitely true. A lot of the times, I mean, he's there, he's seen, he probably thinks and feels as well, obviously. But, excuse me, I think they need to talk. As I said, they need to take time to console each other and talk about things, their hopes that they may feel have been dashed, you know, the potential of what was there. Yeah. But also look at what the future holds and have the discussion. Whenever you guys are ready, and maybe through a third party, is to discuss what would happen if you didn't have children. What could she put herself, is she physically and mentally ready to go through another pregnancy? Because, you know, the pressure and the fear of having to go through, God forbid, the same thing again might not be too much for her to carry. Maybe she should give herself a break and say or make the decision of this is not working for me. Right. But talk through it with someone. Because of a lot of the time our religious community mean well, but there's not a lot of compassion there. There's a lot of things from books, and there's a lot of things that, you know, that it's a test of faith and how are you going to pass this test, but it doesn't give any comfort in the heart really when you're going through something. You want somebody to hold your hand and say, yes, it's painful and we understand, but there are things that you can do and this doesn't define you. And I think for a lot of women, marriage and children are the major things that define us, instead of, you know, the potential of what Allah has created and what we could become and what we could give to the community and how we could be with, you know, our, you know, society. We're defined by, you know, who got married, what age, how many children, who had the biggest wedding, what did you eat at the walima, what's happening at the akika. None of these things people forget the day after. They might be important,
they might be great things, but they're not the be-all and end-all. If it's okay, can we jump into the next scenario? Because I really want to do justice to this very important question. It reads, Dear ItTakes2, I can't see myself being with one woman. I just can't, but not sure how to tell this to my wife. In her contract, she stated that she does not want me to marry anyone else, and I thought I would be fine with that as I love her. But in all honesty, I am not like most guys. I don't want to get divorced, nor do I feel I need to justify my feelings, as most women will not be able to understand. So how can I move forward in this situation? How do I balance my own needs with the feelings of my wife and the fact that I am contractually obligated to remain with one wife only? And this is from a alpha male in the UK. Sheikh, I'll start with yourself. How do we help the alpha male? How do we help the alpha male?
Because of what he has said. Yes. I think he closed up to himself, because he said that the wife has said in the contract, isn't it? Yeah. Marriage contract. Yeah. So if he said yes, it means the contract is bound. Right. Because the marriage, we have said, is a contract between two parties, two individuals. Most of the people do not even understand that. They think they can just maybe violate what they have agreed to each other. Especially we males, we think that. But if a woman say that I don't want you to get married, my shurut of this marriage, that I don't want to get married with any other woman. If you say yes,
Is that valid?
yeah.
No, just so I can clarify that.
Are you okay?
Just 1 second. I don't know if is it just water?
Yeah.
Yes, it's just water. No, I need to.
If he
Because
said
I thought that it was his right to have another wife. She could have the right of divorce if she, but she can't tell him he can't have an ex-wife.
You mix two things. If
Tell him, Shay.
to marry another wife
Yeah,
is okay, is allowed in Islam.
that's his
Right?
human right as a
human
Muslim.
right, yeah.
Human
But
right.
if you, as individuals, you agree each other
Okay.
that, look, I'm not going to marry another wife, is my shurut of marriage with you,
Yeah.
and then you agree with that.
But word is bond. He's given his word on that.
Yes, at the end of the aqd, the sheikh is telling you, imsaku bil ma'ruf, aw tasrih bil ihsan, to live with the wife bil ma'ruf, with good, what you have agreed upon, or to live with goodness also, right? So this is how you say yes, I agree, qabilt, isn't so?
Yes. Yeah.
So then if you go and marry another woman, it means you have violated your contract.
Okay.
Yes, it's obvious.
So Quran says you have to fulfill your contract.
So let me just bring Ruby in for a minute. So you can live in goodness,
Yes.
leave them in goodness if you can't fulfill your obligation. Can he stay in goodness? Like maybe he can bring something to the contractual table that may help her to reconsider. People sign a deal and then to try and bring a new clause and they make another offer.
No, Brother Bilal, I've never met anybody that has died from not having a second wife or third wife, or never seen it before. Never seen it. This will be a first. He sounds like he's going to die if he doesn't have a second wife.
It sounds intense.
It sounds like he's going to die.
intense.
The world is going to end.
And like he said, most women, it's hard for him to explain because most women just wouldn't
Well, here's
understand.
my thing, because most women don't understand. When he decided to get married, did these things not come up to him? Nobody spoke to him about his Islamic rights. He never had these inclinations before, but suddenly he's woken up and he feels that his human
It's the
rights have been
epiphany. It's
violated.
the epiphany. He had
Really?
epiphany.
Well, here's an epiphany. He made a contractual agreement.
Mm-hmm.
The woman accepted him because he agreed to her terms. That's why she accepted him.
Yep.
If he had mentioned before, oh, can we look at this later? Or could maybe there's a possibility, I'm not saying now, but in 5 years, I don't know where my head is, things will change, that would be different. But as the contract stands, she said no thank you. He said okay, and off they go. Now, as the Sheikh said, if he feels that it's impossible and he may die on the spot if he doesn't have a second or third or how many wives, then he can get a divorce. I'm sure he can get one.
Okay.
But why must he keep the wife prisoner? That's not what she...
No, he doesn't want to keep her. Well, I'm not sure what his intentions,
Well,
but
so
he's saying
she
that he's
should
attached to
stay.
her.
Yeah.
He loves her, Sheikh. But I think there's something deeper going on here. And what it is I'm trying to find the right word. It's that for a lot of men, he mentions himself as an alpha man, but for a lot of men, they are wired when it comes to the area of bonding, the area of intimacy, the area of mental stimulation. They are wired different from women. That women can be satiated, their husband is the center of their world, after Allah, obviously, but it's enough. But for men, sometimes they feel inspired when they have more than one wife, and one wife inspires them in this way, this wife motivates them in that way. Is the male different from the female?
I think males are different with females, definitely biologically, and the way how their nature is different. But that does not justify that a man should think all the time to marry more than one wife. Because if you look at the Quranic instructions, it speaks about marrying wives, but all of those women who are instructed by Allah to be married, when you look at them, have been linked with orphans, children, widows. If you look, all of those verses speak about women who are widows to be married. So, and this is why Allah, He said, فَإِن لَمْ تَسْتَطِعْ أَن تَعْدِلُوا فِي الْيَتَامَى. If you cannot do justice to the orphans, right? فَانْقِهُوا مَا طَابَ لَكُمْ مِنْ نِسَاءٍ. Then marry women of your choice once or twice. You see, it spoke about orphans, that people who died in the war, they left their women who have children. So the society is in terrible, situation. But do men, majority of men like Alpha, those Alpha, and do they think of harboring or getting a woman who is widow, who need really to be raised her status, or they are thinking of getting married with a 16-year-old girl or 17-year-old girl or 18-year-old? This is the issue here. Yeah. So for me, if a man really need another wife, and the society is in dire need of that, because we have a lot of widows, we have a lot of children who need to be looked after. They don't have fathers. Their fathers have died in the war, or their fathers by other situations are not around. So if the men will take care of our widows, will take care of these women and their children, then this is a very good thing. It's a noble thing. But I don't think that people like
a lot of brothers are thinking the widows should be looked after, sadaqah and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of brothers are thinking that. Bilal.
You were going to say something, Ruby?
They definitely. I don't see a lot of brothers thinking, "Oh, let me go to this region in the world and just help some." No, that's not what's happening. He's talking about his nafs and his physical needs. That's what he's talking about.
Which is not a crime.
It's not a crime, but he is married, so he can happily exercise those needs. And let's remember, he signed a contract. I don't understand why people in this day and age, 2017, when they're getting married, or even before that, people don't sit down and talk to them about what marriage means, what it entails. Men suddenly don't know what their rights are. Nobody's saying if you feel that you are not inclined to be with one person, that you must suffer and stuff. But at least put that on the table and accept the consequences that many sisters may not agree to marry you because you have put that on the table. If you're okay with that, Bismillah. But don't just turn up one day and then feel that your rights have been robbed because that's what you agreed to. Nobody forced you.
I mean, my heart really goes out to the brother though, because he sounds like a man that's trapped in the sense that he doesn't want to do the thing which is halal but Allah hates the most, which is divorce his wife. But his
well, why doesn't she get to say? Why can't they sit down and talk?
That's what I'm saying, that he needs to recontract, or needs
no, not for the sake of...
I'm saying he needs to make her some kind of offer or have a dialogue with her that she may change her mind. She may say no way, or say, actually, you know what, if now you're speaking about it and I'm getting older, I feel a little bit, I too feel different, and I'm busy with the children and stuff, and that might be a good idea.
And she may say, no way, thank you very much, and he needs to take that consequence.
He'd probably kick the TV set if he's watching this at this point.
Well, fair is fair, we're Muslims, right? Justice. The Sheikh said himself.
I think we Muslims, we need to honor our contracts, because we are the most people who violate our contracts, especially when it comes into women.
Sheikh is bigger than the contract, isn't it? This is a very much this question is very much about polygamy, and is it still a viable phenomena in the 21st century?
I think it could be to this situation, like in where if there is a war and women has been left as widows.
There's wars everywhere in the Muslim world.
So
and the Muslim world is under assault
in order for them to protect their dignity, not to go begging on the street, or to be outside of, people, if they housing them, they marry them in that way to preserve their dignity.
So men as providers, not just a second wife. Just
no, as providers to raise the children, not for the sake of pleasure, like how others think.
Do you know what would help if we had examples for both men and women living, breathing now that practice polygamy in the correct way, that brought justice to both the woman and to everybody involved? Then maybe the community would warm up to that idea. A lot of the time you hear that, oh, sisters are the problem, why men have to go underground or feel suppressed or oppressed even. But if we had people that were honest, truthful on the table and gave you the real life, like reality TV, how it really was, we would learn a lot. But unfortunately, our community wants to either hide it for whatever reason, either pretend it's not there, or have alpha males like this brother talking about his needs. He really can't. And no, as I said, I've never known anybody, I haven't read any historical documents saying somebody's died because they haven't had a second or third or fourth wife.
Well, I haven't read it in any medical journal, but I can
Really?
appreciate the passion in his letter. And well, I guess my ultimate advice to him would be, if you're an alpha male, then you really do need to practice your alpha male-ness with your wife that you have now, and go and speak to her about any challenges that you have or anything that's on your mind. Wow, time has gone. This type of question does make the time go extremely quickly, and we've unfortunately run out of time. But thank you so much, Sheikh, for coming by today, and Ruby, thank you as always.
Thank you.
And thank you all for staying with us for the duration of It Takes Two. Hope to see you next week. Assalamu alaikum.
La